Gary, a 3-0 victory against Ballymena. Tell us how you saw that one.
Yeah, it wasn't a classic the first 45 minutes, that was for sure. I think it was a bit scrappy, the game. You can see Jim and that there's trying to get his team really motivated and up before the fight, and they certainly had the fight. But I think that the difference was the quality of the deliveries and the ball into the box. It's Andy Ryan's put down an absolute plate for Lee, and he owes him one. He returned the favour shortly afterwards. But once we got the first goal and got our noses in front, there was only ever going to be one winner, I felt.
And what was the key, or maybe what was the difference between that first and second half? We obviously got the lead within 3 minutes of the second half, so what maybe changed that we didn't see enough of in the first half?
Listen, I think we were quite solid throughout. I can't really remember Rowan having to make a save in the whole game. So it was good to get back to getting clean sheets and be what we built our whole campaign on last year was good, solid defending. It was maybe we were a bit too keen to go back to front. I think we went a bit too direct earlier in the game, but once we kind of addressed that at half time, the manager went in and told boys not they're not to empty the midfield quite as same and that, and when we got a better balance and a better structure behind the ball, we were able to build proper attacks rather than sort of it going up, maybe not sticking and coming back at us. So the gaffer changed things at half time, slightly tweaked it, and it made all the difference for the second half.
Yeah, we seemed to play in Ballymena's half a lot more in the second half, which obviously got the goals and some of those other chances that we saw as well.
Yeah, no, and I think that was what he talked about at half time, was controlling the game a little bit more. Like it felt like it was a wee bit going back to front, and that there was coming back at us quite a lot. So it was just about sustaining them attacks, building it into good areas, and then getting people into the box. The ball Andy Ryan puts in is an absolute peach of a ball. You won't be able to cross the ball any better than that, and Lee couldn't miss it from that distance. He was there to head it in. The second goal again is all about Lee's work rate and desire to get into the channel and work into that space, and Andy Ryan again with a first class finish. And that's probably the difference between the two teams, just that little bit more quality in around the 18-yard box. And like I said, they were very committed. You could hear Jim, he was beside us in the dugout. He'll be hoarse tonight because he never stopped the whole time trying to encourage his team and keep them motivated, and that's probably what he's going to need to do this year with them. But they put a lot of fight into the game, but ultimately we were just too strong for them in the end.
And Andy Ryan and Lee Bonus, as you've already mentioned, really are forming quite the partnership. One's creating for the other, and they're both getting on the score sheet. And even though it's early days in the season, that's exactly what you want from both strikers as well as the others who are going to play a big part this season too.
Yeah, listen, the two boys are a class act. It's frustrating, I suppose, for Paul O'Neill and Isaac Westendorf because they have to wait their chance, and that's only because the boys are in such good form. Every time Paul's been asked of him to go on and play, I think he's done really, really well. So he's just knocking at the door, and Isaac's waiting for that opportunity. But the boys are in really good form. They're more than a handful for anybody. For me, the best two strikers in the Irish League. Whenever they're on it, they're formidable. The two lads. The work rate and their desire and all the effort they have put into it. But they've got quality, obviously too. And they're two very, very good goal scorers.
And at the other end, as you mentioned, first clean sheet of the season. How important is that for us to build on and take forward?
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. Cian Bulgy was missing tonight with a bit of hamstring issue. Like 2 days he picked up at the Oval. Whereas Cian was obviously massive for us not there all last year. But Craig stepped in there tonight, and he really come of age a little bit. He showed his leadership qualities, his desire to go and head the ball out of the box. Shawnee wanting that there again, using his experience. He's a senior player now. Shawnee still thinks he's 18 years of age, but he's growing into that leadership role too, and Levi obviously anchoring that with Donzo out at the minute. But the boys was solid. We didn't really look like conceding anything tonight, really. We did, but it's going to be pivotal for us moving forward, because there's a lot of very, very tough games, and you can already see within 3 games and at the end of the season about how much everybody's lifted their game. And everybody's improved, and everybody's got that little bit more because we are the champions. So we have to be prepared for that and meet that challenge head on.
And after the disappointment of surrendering the lead against Dungannon, we've really started to build momentum, obviously last Friday at the Oval, and tonight we've followed that up. How important was it to back up what we saw on Friday against Glentoran?
I think it was massive. When you look back on the season, that last 10-15 minutes against the Glens at the Oval was really character building for the boys. Off the back of what happened on Monday, was so unlike us. It's not something we normally let happen. So we don't. So there was home truths told. There was a lot of honesty said between the manager and the boys and everybody in around the training ground. Seamus told the boys, no certain terms, what was expected, so they've responded in exactly the way you'd hope they would, and they came out fighting, and they to a man, they were excellent down at the Oval, because it's never an easy place to go, and we've backed that up with another 3-win win tonight, and we go into Coleraine on Saturday, looking forward to another challenge.
Yeah, 2 big tests coming up, Coleraine away on Saturday, and then we're on the road again against Cliftonville. So, 2 real tests of our credentials against two top 6 teams.
Yeah, no, and that's, ultimately, we went there last year, and we've got a few good results in that there against them teams. It is, but there's no easy games. You can see that there tonight with tonight's performance, how much the teams are battling and fighting for. Felt obviously Dungannon was the same, they put a lot of fight into the game and that there, so every game you're going to have to pay to the last minute. You even see the results, how much it's tightened up, like Glenn's only went 1-0 away to Lochgall, and people maybe didn't expect Lochgall to have the start that they have, but they're obviously showing that they're more than capable of competing with the teams within this league, so we have to be right on it and be prepared for every challenge that comes our way.
And just finally, the managers talked a lot about how much it needs to mean to play for the club and play for the shirt, and we saw that with Paul O'Neill having a bereavement in the family either side of the weekend, and turning up and playing on both occasions.
Yeah, listen, truth be told, the boys didn't really know anything about that. It was a conversation he had with the gaffer, and he came to the manager. Obviously, the gaffer was aware of what was happening. There was Paul's grandfather, and he said, my grandfather would have wanted me to be here, and he would have wanted me to play. And I think that shows you the level of commitment that Paul O'Neill put himself through that, and made himself available for selection, and he didn't miss training either the next day, and he's done things and that made his granddad very, very proud. I'm sure he was very proud of him. Paul's an outstanding young fella, and it shows you the character, and how much togetherness that the boys have, that he didn't want to miss it, and he didn't want to let anybody down, and he wanted to be a part of it. So yeah, that's the kind of character of the people that we want to have at this football club, and Paul's an outstanding lad.
Brilliant, thank you.